Welcome back Pokefans to the Pokemon Astra Adventures 2 Nuzlocke playthrough. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, then go back and watch them. So today we're going to be starting off with the leader of the dojo in Saffron City, I think it is. He's going to have fighting Pokemon, and after you beat him you can get a gift Pokemon like the original games. So he's going to lead off with a Hitmonlee and a Hitmonchan. And we're going to go off with Zach and Archie for the Intimidate, and obviously Zach's super effective. These do hit hard though, so it's not going to be an easy battle, and as you can see, Air Cutter doesn't even do much. A Firefang manages to finish off the Hitmonchan, and then Blaze Kick not doing too much. He's then got a third Pokemon, which is a Hitmontop, so he's got all the Hitmon Pokemon. Thankfully Hitmonlee goes for Sucker Punch, and we weren't attacking, we were trying to put it to sleep. We can take on Hitmonlee before it gets another attack off. We then go for a Leer and finally put it to sleep with Hypnosis. Now it's asleep, we haven't got to worry as much, but we do go ahead and miss a Firefang. We went for Leech Life just to get a little bit of HP back, but it didn't do much, and Triple Kick hits incredibly hard. So we're going to switch out Archie because we don't want to risk a quit. We'll bring in Gary and get off another Intimidate just to be safe. Triple Kick does not do much to Gary though, so we can then go for another Air Cutter, and that will finish off Hitmontop, and then that's the end of that battle. After the battle, Zach finally evolves into a Crobat, and it's over the last few years become a Pokemon I like. I never used to like the Zubat evolution line, but I realised that it hits quite hard and it's very fast. It also goes ahead and learns to move Cross Poison, which is quite a big power jump from Poison Fang. So after you beat him, you go ahead and get the gift Pokemon that's behind him, which of course is a Tyrogue, which can evolve into Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan or Hitmontop. We go ahead and give it the nickname Tyson, seeing as it's male, seeing as it's a boxer Pokemon as well. And if I had to choose, I'd probably evolve into Hitmonchan, which is a boxer. After that, because we need to go and see Mr. Fuji, we have to continue right once we've backtracked all the way to Cerulean City, so we can go through Rock Tunnel. So pick up a Super Potion and the TM4 Aerial Ace, and then we've also got an encounter here. We go ahead and jump straight into this trainer battle, which will probably be the first of quite a few. So Youngster Quinn's got an Elekid. We switch out into Jeffrey because it can't really hit us for anything that's super effective. Thankfully misses the Thunder Wave, and Sludge after Citrus takes it to just below half. He does then go ahead and Thunder Wave us though, and then Thunder Punch does absolutely nothing, and Sludge can finish it off. Next up he sends out Nidorino. I think I switched here just because it was poisoned, not poisoned, sorry, paralysed, and we couldn't really do much with Sludge and Petal Dance, so we switch down to Gary. We go ahead and get badly poisoned as well, which is basically toxic. Thankfully though, we do take this out, because I think if it hit us again, toxic damage might have finished us off. We then go ahead and pick up the TM4 Smackdown, and then we head on into the next battle, because I was going to run back and heal. She leads off with a Magby, which just sets up Reflect on its first turn. Fire Punch doesn't do much, and a third Dragon Breath can take it down. I'm actually thinking of turning this into a physical Charizard, seeing as the moves it's learning, along with Dragon Dance. Nidorino comes out next, so we switch out into Zach, which would have been the better Pokemon to turn to when Nidorino came in before, because it literally can't hit us for anything. And we also can't get poisoned, but a few Air Cutters and it's down. Next up we got a battle against a hiker who leads off with Machop. So we switch out and go into Zack again. He does hit us with a seismic toss which does 29 HP. Bit of a waste of a gem, but oh well. One single aircut and it's gone. Next up Sand Slash, and I didn't want to risk it having a rock move, so we switched out into Jeffrey, and as it turns out he just went for a Metal Claw. We then go for a Petal Dance and it takes it out in one hit. Zack wanted to learn Veno Shock, but because it's a physical attacker it's not really worth it. After that we go and collect the Thunderstone, and then there's another Meltan, which I think there seems to be on every route, and then we head into the next trainer battle. So up next we've got Aroma Lady Rose, and she's got a Gloom, so I just set out with Drew, go for a Dragon Dance. Leaf Tornado does not do much, but we do get an accuracy drop which is annoying. Single Fire Fang can then take it out. Second Pokemon's a Weeping Belt, and of course we miss with the Fire Fang. Thankfully it doesn't do too much there, and we can take it out in the next turn. We then go ahead and get our encounter, and after looking at the overworld Pokemon, Nidorino seems the best bet because at least then we can get a Nidoking. So we put it to sleep with Zack, and then I thought I'll try it, see if I can catch it at full HP. So we throw a Great Ball and we catch it, no issues whatsoever. Seeing as it's a male and Giovanni uses a Nidoking, I think we go ahead and call it Geo for short. After we've caught it, it gives us a Poison Gem and some EXP candies medium, which are going to come in use. Then we continue on and we actually enter a new route, which is Route 10. We speak to this guy thinking he was an NPC, and it weren't, he was an actual trainer, so we got another battle. Leads off with a Krabby, and we switch out and go out into Buzz. Krabby somehow learns Metal Claw. I don't know if that's canon or not, but I've never known it before. His second Pokemon's a Gyarados, and even with an Intimidate drop, he's not going to survive a 4x super effective Thunder Punch. Gyarados then wants to learn Aqua Tail, and because he's a physical attacker, it makes sense to get rid of Water Pulse. We then head on down here and talk to this guy. He says that some birds got a Pokemon for him, and he actually gives us a Voltorb, which I thought was a strange Pokemon to be given us. Then I remembered that it's Hisuian, so Hisuian Pokemon are actually in this game. I struggled for a name at first. I was thinking Egg, but then I thought we'll go with Greg instead. I think it's probably going to stay in the box though, because I've never really been a fan of Electrode. We'll quickly heal up and then we continue on, and we actually head straight into a rival battle with Verdi from Team Astra, and he just seems to be annoyed with us. He goes to walk away and then threatens us, saying he's going to knock us out or something like that. So straight into a battle we go, and it's a double battle. He leads off with Elekid and Magby, and it's actually a 6v6 battle. We have got the level advantage though, and of course he's still got baby Pokemon. We double into the Elekid because I didn't want it to somehow knock out Zack. We do get the paralysis on Zack though. Next up comes his mascot Pokemon, which is Meowth, and Swift does quite a lot of damage, which I was not expecting. We do double into it though, and a Cross Poison takes it out. Next up he sends out his own Golbat, and I switch out Zack for Buzz, and we do go for a Fire Fang. It's a good job we did switch because he went for a Wing Attack, which was boosted by a gem as well, but Buzz obviously resists that. Archie goes for a Leer on both, and then a Thunder Punch definitely takes out Golbat. I'm not too worried about the Magby at the moment because it's a baby Pokemon. And then I give up on learning Cross Chop on Buzz. because I don't like the fact it's only 5 pp and its accuracy. Extreme speed nearly KOs, but just not. But then Buzz can finish it off. And yet again we've beat Birdie. I think that's 3 times now. He gets a phone call from what he says his boss, and then he just disappears. So we quickly go back to the Pokemon Center and heal. We then continue on round and we find a Dratini just swimming next to the bridge. And obviously we've got an encounter here as well, so turns out this is going to be our encounter. It's only level 25, and obviously it doesn't become good until it evolves into a Dragonite, which is in like level 50 something. So it's going to be a while before we get any use from this. So after weakening it with a Dragon Rage, it's a little bit too frail to try and attack again, so we put it to sleep with Hypnosis, and then I wanted to try and catch it in the Luxury Ball, so we just start launching balls at it, and we get it first time. I was expecting it to be a little bit more difficult than that. As it's a female, we go and call it Claire, which is the Dragon type leader from Johto, and after that it drops a Dragon Scale and some more medium EXP candies. We then find the power plant, so we head on in there, and we actually get an encounter which is not an overworld one, so looks like Magneton's going to be our encounter here. Fire Fang takes it down to probably, I want to say, about 4 or 5 HP, and then we throw a Great Ball and it doesn't even roll once. Parabolic Charge does quite a bit, and it does heal a little bit of HP, so we switch out into Jeffrey, who can tank his hits. We then put up a sleep powder, and thankfully it hits, and then we just gotta try and catch it now. We actually go ahead and get a critical catch, because it just rolls once and then that's it, it's caught, which is a little bit lucky because I thought it was going to be a challenge. We go ahead and call it Clemon after the electric gym leader from X and Y. And after the battle, our Charmeleon finally evolves into Charizard. I did realise though that this gives us 3 flying Pokemon now, so I might have to change my team a little bit. He also wants to learn Wing Attack, so we get rid of Metal Claw since it's Stab. We pick up the TM for Charge Beam, and then now we're just going to have a look around, see what we can actually find in here. We accidentally run into this Magnemite, and after running away from it, it drops a Metal Coat, which is going to come in useful, especially if you want to evolve Scyther into Scizor. You can also catch Electabuzz here as well. After that, we realised that we can't actually go any further because there's a box blocking whatever room was behind. We do find some cell batteries though by clicking on this area here. After that, we've got to go through Rock Tunnel, so we take on the trainer that's standing outside first. Pokemon Ranger Martha has a Clefable. Leading off with Archie, we do tank his fairy moves, but it hits us with Thunder Wave, which paralyses us, and then of course we get paralysed after getting hit. She uses another Dazzling Gleam and we get paralysed again, and I was really starting to lose it with getting 2 paralysis in a row. So we switch out into Zack, who also resists the fairy type moves. We then go for a Cross Poison, and because it's super effective, it takes that Clefable in 1 hit. Zack then wants to learn a new move called Drac Bite, but 1, it's special, and 2, it's not very strong, so we don't learn it. In Rock Tunnel, we run into our first trainer, which is Cubone, who goes for a measly double kick, and unfortunately for itself gets taken out by a Gyarados. Arcanine also wants to learn Crunch, so we get rid of Leah. Next up, he has a Slowpoke and a single bite. Nearly KOs it, but then a second one finishes it off. I like the fact that you don't need flash, and they've just like dimmed it to make it a little bit more dark. We pick up a full heal and then we carry on, where we go and find an Ultra Ball as well. Next we've got another battle. Super Nerd Rodney sends out Charmander at level 30, which he must obviously be pressing B when it wants to evolve, because it should be a Charmeleon now. Gyarados takes that out, and next up he sends out Kangaskhan. From playing Radical Red, I've realised how dangerous Kangaskhan can actually be. And it's got the Scrappy ability, which in this stops you from being intimidated apparently. Mega Punch is doing quite a bit, and a double hit takes us down to 24 HP. We could have KO'd it, but I didn't want to risk missing. So we switch out to Buzz, who gets crit, but then Power Up Punch can finish it off. We continue on after that, and as you can see, there's some pretty good Pokemon in the overworld here. We pick up the Revive and then continue on down the stairs. We're lucky to avoid the Geodude there. I was actually using a repel for the whole time going through here because I wanted to see what Pokemon were here before deciding which one to encounter. We speak to this guy and he gives us the heavy duty boots. We then go into the next guy who's a trainer. Hiker Ruben sends out a Machop, and obviously Gyarados gets the Intimidate off. Go for a Twister and it really does not do much damage. In fact, I think Seismic Toss probably did more to us. So we switch out and send out Zac. Zac gets hit with a knockoff which doesn't do much, and then Air Cutter takes it out. Then Hiker Ruben sends out Graveler, so we switch out into Jeffrey. He does go for a rock move, so it's a good job we didn't stay in. Petal Dance should have KO'd, but it's got an ability called Sturdy, which means it survives on 1 HP when it's at full HP. Then a second Petal Dance can take it out. We then find a Dust Stone and continue on. Looking at the Pokemon here, I think I'm going to pick Machop for my encounter. We get a Super Potion and then we head on down to get the other item. This turns out to be the TM for Dig, which we could have probably done before when we took on Lieutenant Surge. We then have to wait to try and avoid this Graveler. We pick up the item, which is a Dawnstone, so we got Dawn and Dusk. Then continuing on, we have another battle against a scientist. In fact, no, it's not a scientist, it's Super Nerd. He looked like one from his sprites. He's got a Slowking, so we switch out into Buzz. Zen Headbutt misses. We go for a Thunder Punch and it just about lives. Water Pulse doesn't do much, and then a second Thunder Punch can take it out. We then head on and we're heading into a double battle, so I switch up my team and we're running a little bit short on healing items, so I'm having to pick and choose when to heal because I'm not 100% sure how many battles we've still got. So we head on into the double battle. Turns out it's a full 6v6 and they lead off with a Meowth and Pikachu. We go for a double Intimidate, but because she's got a Pikachu, I've got to switch out Gary because a Thunder Shock probably takes it out. Archie goes for a Fire Fang and takes out the Meowth in one hit. Next up they send out a Nidorina, and Petal Dance. Turns out you can't actually choose what you want to hit, which I think is like Outrage. Archie gets poison from Poison Point and Pikachu just about survives from a Sludge. A second sludge will take out the Pikachu though, which just seems to be do agilities. Archie takes out the Nidorino with Fire Fang as well. Up next is a Gloom and a Nidorino. We switch out Jeffrey for Zack, and Archie KO's Gloom with a single flamethrower. Nidorino goes for Thrash on Archie, and the poison damage is starting to chip up now as well. So we switch it out for Gyarados. Zack hits it with an air cut, which does just under half, and takes a Thrash for hardly any damage. We then go for a second air cut, which takes it down to red, and then Gyarados finishes it off with a Twister. Next up's the last Pokemon, which is a Weeping Bell. A single air cutter finishes that off, and we've got through a double battle with no problems really. We then continue on, and you can actually find Cubone in here as well. There's also a little patch of water here with an item across it, so you must learn to surf at some point. And then once we exit that, we are pretty much at Lavender Town. All that's left to do now is just evade these battles. Now we've arrived in Lavender Town, all that's left to do here is just explore what's here. Mr. Fuji's house should be here as well. We talk to this girl and she tells us that he's usually at the home. If he's not there, then he's at Pokemon Tower. Lavender Town looks a lot different to what it does in the original games. It looks a little bit more up to date. We pick up the TM4 Fairy Wind, and then we head on into the Pokemon home. And as you can see, it looks like Mr. Fuji's not here. Talking to this woman tells us that he's going to be at Pokemon Tower, so that means we've got to head there now. So the only place that we've got left to go is this big building, which of course is the Pokemon Tower. This little girl asks us if we believe in ghosts, and of course we don't. So we head on into Pokemon Tower and speak to the people in here. I mean, it's a little bit creepy to go somewhere where Pokemon are laid to rest. We find an NPC who sells the different seeds, and that's all that's actually in here unless we transverse up. And we're actually going to save that for the next episode. So thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next one. Peace out.